Hi guys, and thank you for being interested in this tutorial, which is actually the first one in a series, I guess, of some tutorials that I would make on all the new updates, and there were quite big ones in the 2023 config of Figma, which happened 2 days ago. We are on the 24th of June 2023. Of course, maybe you would see that in a year from now, and things could be already completely different. So, of course, everything is relevant to the time that I'm making this tutorial. So, Figma started actually to give the ability or added the ability to work with variables and conditions in prototyping, which actually in prototyping and maintaining design systems as well. Yeah, I mean, like the variables and so on. I'm just saying that, of course, the condition is relevant more to advanced prototyping, or let's call it like a dynamic prototyping, meaning that things can happen on the screen depending on the action that the user or what have the user actually did on the screen. So that is quite different from, let's say, creating a flat prototype which has a very specific route as we wire it up, and it's not dynamic, but the user who is using our prototype has to go through a specific route, and then he can only see how the prototype works. But again, I'm just saying that still prototyping screen behaviors, meaning animations and so on, it would definitely, I think, keep on being also on flat prototyping, which is great, is good. As of course, there's nothing wrong with that. I'm just kind of like showing this new ability, which is, as I said, the tip of the ice, starting to scratch actually the tip of the iceberg of what you can actually do with variables and conditions and making your prototypes dynamic. Okay, so I talked a lot, but kind of like yeah, it was I think was necessary to say. And another thing that Figma added in these new updates is an inline, or kind of like an in file preview, that when you click on it, it opens this preview inside your file, and not only the other way as you are used to with presenting. When you click on the present, it will still open it as you are used to in a different tab, but you can preview it quicker, make it actually bigger, smaller. You can preview what you did quickly in your file, and that's pretty cool because when working, sometimes you want to, instead of like kind of like open your or jumping to a new tab and open it again and again. So anyway, that could be pretty useful, especially when working on mobile. So I will show that as we go. Okay, so I have this prototype. Clicking on the blue, as you see, the glasses become blue, and not glue, blue. And yes, it sounded to me like I said glue, but then that's not what I meant. Orange and purple. So you see it works perfect, works nice, great. And I have done that only in one frame. There are no variants, there are no other screens, there isn't nothing. Okay, so let's see actually how can we create that. I will show this one, and to actually gain or achieve this prototype, you would either go, I mean, like without using variables, you would do 4 variants probably, sorry, and you would make sure that each button is wired up to all the other variants. So this is how you achieve it, and that's great. I mean, it's a good, great prototype. I mean, don't get me wrong for a second, okay? It's a great prototype. In this case, by the way, it does completely the job, and you don't really need that much of a dynamic behavior, but I will show exactly how to do that, just to understand the way and the logic of doing that. Or you would make, let's say, yeah, just let's just see how it works. I will take just one instance here. I will just put it in a frame. Yeah, and let's hit the play, or we can hit the preview, and then you will see that, you see it changes. It actually does practically the same. Okay, good. And here I will show how to do that with a variable. So let's open we'll go to the design. By the way, shift space will open shift space. Let's try it. Yes, opens yeah, now it's the other one is selected, but it opens the preview inside the file. Or if I will select this, so shift E, sorry, shift space. Yeah, I'm kind of like getting used to it. Okay. Anyway, yeah, but you can click on this one as well. So yeah, I'm just kind of like trying it myself and getting the hang of it. So Shift E, and by the way, sorry, Shift space. Yeah, it's kind of like stuck in my head, and the Shift E actually goes between the prototype tab and the design tab, which is cool, which is nice. Okay, good. So here, when we are in the design tab, we have the local. So that all that you've seen here, by the way, but sorry, let me just make that again. So all that you see here, okay, all that you see here actually happens with one variable, just one, okay, and I will show that. So this one variable. Okay, something is going on with the computer. Ta-ta-tam. Yeah, okay. I think it's good. Okay. Yeah, let me just delete that, and you know what, yeah, we'll look at it like that. So I'm creating a new variable. You can call this collection, or let's say a bunch of variables. You can name it any name that you want. Here you can click here, rename collection, delete collection, and so on. Now there's nothing to delete because there's no connection. Here is creating a new variable. So when you click on that, you will see that you have a color variable, number, string, and boolean. I'm just saying that a variable, think of it of some kind of like a virtual information or a parameter container that you can start it with something inside, and then by doing some action on the screen, it changes the value in it. Okay, it makes it either boolean is either true or false, or you can change a string, a number, or a color. So let's see how it happens. So I'm going to add a color variable. Let's call it glasses color. Okay, the glasses color, and the initial color that I will work with is going to be actually this. Okay, so this is going to be the starting point of it, because this is our starting color. And here you can click and select, okay, which or what am I actually affecting. Okay, so these glasses, by the way, okay, these glasses are frames. This is a frame, and inside we have only these two stripes. Okay, I can move it a bit. Yeah. So when I'm clicking here, I will select a fill of a frame. I can just do it like that. I mean, just let's say a fill, or not selecting this one. Yeah, a fill of a frame or a shape or whatever you want. That's good enough at this point. Okay, great. And this one. So yeah, so I created this variable. Now what you gotta do is you have to hook up this variable to the color of this frame. Okay, so we will go into design, make sure that we are in design, and double clicking on this frame, and I can select this one as well. So I selected these two frames, and yeah, that was hooked up before of the other one. So you will see that now actually on the fill, I can give it some kind of a color if I want to, or any colors that I have from other libraries and so on. And I can select whatever you see rectangular one, that is a variable. So you can click on it and give it this color. That means that now this is a variable which is hooked up to the color of these two frames, which actually present the glasses of the frame. Okay, cool. So we have that variable. We have it actually hooked up to here, and that is great. Good. Now the other thing which is left for us to do is I'm double clicking and selecting this button, and this button I'm gonna give it on the prototype, I'm gonna give it an interaction. Now I'm clicking on the plus button, on click, Okay, I'm gonna click here the plus, add action, and now you see that these two were added. So it's set variable or conditional. Okay, I'm gonna click on the set variable. So when I'm clicking this button, I wanted to set this variable. Of course, now we don't have a lot of a lot of variables because we have only one. So anyway, if you're gonna have maybe sometimes a long list, so you can just search it here and find quickly the variable you're looking for. I'm gonna click on this one, and this is going to be I want the color. Sorry, when I'm clicking on the button, I want it to set this variable, which is called glasses color. I want to set it actually to this color, this one. Okay, by the way, I tried the color picker and I see that it doesn't really work. Okay, so I guess that they will fix that. Yes, it should be fixed. But anyway, I'm gonna select this one. So you see, when I click on this button, I'm gonna change it to this color. So I'm setting this variable to be this color. Same thing, I can copy, by the way, from here. So I can click here right on the edge of it, copy, Control C or Command C, select this one and Control or Command V. So I gave it the same action, but of course I will make it now a different color, meaning when we click on the button, the glasses color variable is gonna be this color. Okay, and I'm going to do the same with this one, Control V or Command V, depends on which computer you are working on, and again clicking on this one, and I will select this color. Okay, basically we are set. So again, we told it that when we, oh no, we're not set because I didn't do it on this one, and by the way, this is going to be this color. Okay, good. So now we have them all wired up, each one with its own action. And when we will click here and do the shift space, or actually click on this one, by the way, when you do connect the flow starting point, so you said you have the same action here, you can click on it. And now you see it works perfect. So we did that, all this prototype actually, with just setting change variable on these buttons. Okay, so that is kind of like a very simple one, and it works nice, great. And as you see, we have done that only on one screen, which is pretty powerful. Okay, good. Now we're gonna go to something a bit more advanced, just a bit, really, just a bit, nothing that complicated, but let's set a few more variables and see how this thing is working. Okay, of course, it's just an example. You can take it to any direction that you want, and this is kind of like more of understanding the logic of it, and then we can go further with that. So yeah, let's go with this one. So I'm gonna actually go to the design, and I'm gonna do here another collection, create a collection, and I'm gonna call it product page. Okay, so product page, and I'm gonna do number. Yeah, I want an integer, so integer, I'm gonna hook up a number and or create a number variable, and I am gonna call it bag count, meaning the shopping bag count, and the value is gonna be 0. Yes, that is good. And let's see what we can do here, showing all supported properties, corner radius. Yeah, so you see here all, actually when you set a number, so these are all the things that you can change actually with a number. Okay, just to understand that. And I'm gonna create another one. Okay, I will create I'm just kind of like getting used to it. Okay, number, when you see me hesitating for a sec or more, so I'm kind of like getting used to it. Yeah, okay, it takes time. It only came out like 2 days ago, so it takes a bit of time to kind of like get the hang of it. Okay, so I'm gonna call it let's say quantity. Yeah, I guess that's fine as long as we understand it. Quantity, and I'm gonna give it an initial number of 1. I don't want it to start on 0 because a product usually, I mean, when you add it to the bag, probably you need it at least at count 1, not 0. You're not gonna add a product which is 0 count. Yeah, I guess that this is what we're gonna do now. Yeah, okay, so we set these two variables, and now we're gonna start setting actions. Okay, so this one, this is as you see, this is the number of the bag count, and what I'm gonna do here is, instead of I'm gonna click on this one, as you see. Okay, apply variable, and I'm gonna apply the bag count variable to it. Okay, and we set the initial number of it to 0, so this is the number that is getting into it. Okay, and this one, let me just 0. I'm gonna do this one on 0, okay, on purpose. And now we're gonna take this number and we will give it the quantity. So you see, because the quantity is set to 1, when I will give it this variable, it sets it to 1 because this is the default number or the starting number that I gave to it. Okay. Okay, so we have this one as a variable and this one as a variable, and let's start giving actions. So this button, okay, we're gonna go into prototype, and I'm gonna give it an action on click. It's gonna set variable. We're gonna take the quantity, and 2, we're gonna give it a quantity, okay, meaning the current quantity number plus 1 because it's increasing the number. Okay, okay, good. And this one, actually, we're gonna give it again interaction, and we're gonna give it a set variable, quantity to, we're gonna set the quantity to quantity and minus 1. It's gonna do exactly the opposite. Okay, good. Let's kind of like give it a quick test drive and see that it's working. So we're gonna hit this one. Yeah, let's put it, by the way, if you want to see it more or better on a mobile device, so let's select the width of the frame that I was working on, and now you will see it, sorry, this one, you will see it like that. Okay, that's pretty cool. Let's see that it's working. Yes, you see already it's working. Just start to imagine if we would want to do that. So okay, we can create a variant that holds different numbers, or yeah, I guess so. But here it's kind of like it's working dynamically, and once you set it, so it works really cool. Of course, we didn't kind of like, okay, here it's going to go also to minus, so you can't select a -1 product, something like that. Okay, so now we'll fix that. We'll see how to go with that. Add the add to bag. So okay, let's see what we do here. I'm gonna do a, let's say, okay, on tap, and we're gonna set variable. We want to, when I click on this or tap on this button, I want this button to take this number and put it here. Okay, I kind of like want to put the quantity in the shopping bag. Okay, so what we're gonna do is we are going to take the bag count, and to, let's say, write expression, we're gonna take set variable bag count to quantity. Yeah, basically to quantity. That's what it should do. Okay, let's see that it's working. Okay, cool, that's working. I'm excited about myself. Yeah, so 4, I'm clicking on the bag. Okay, great. Good. But now I'm missing another action, because when I take this quantity down, it's going to be only here and it doesn't show up here. That's not good. Okay, so let's fix that. Let's do it even better. So let's select this button. Okay, and let's add to it another action. No, sorry, that's not what I wanted. I want to add here, yeah, I'm clicking on this one. I want to add here that also when I am clicking on it, I'm setting variable of the bag count. Okay, the bag count actually, yeah, I mean the bag, I'm setting the bag count. I'm talking to myself to understand myself better. Okay, so I'm setting the variable of the bag count, which is going to be the quantity actually minus 1. Okay, and but actually it needs to be conditional, I guess. Yeah, it needs to be conditional. Okay, let's try and do the conditional one. So I'm gonna set a condition. Okay, so if the bag count, okay, if the bag count and is actually, if the bag count is yeah, the talking to myself works, is it actually bigger, sorry, if it, yeah, if it's bigger than 0, okay, if it's bigger than 0, then we actually, if it's bigger than 0, then let me see 1 second. So quantity, okay, here, and that work. If it's bigger than 0, then add action, then set variable. Yeah, I kind of like a thought block in a minute. Set variable bag count to what we did before. It's gonna be the quantity minus 1. Okay, good. I think that that should work. Let me see actually what's going on now. Okay, so this is that. Okay, so no, it doesn't work. Let me understand. Okay, let's see what we did wrong here. What not we, I did wrong here. Okay, 1 second. If the bag count is bigger than 0, then set the bag count to, can't we grow it? Okay, okay, the bag count to quantity minus 1. No, to quantity. Why am I doing it so complicated? Yeah, I'm starting, yeah. I guess that, let me see now. Okay, let me see. Okay. Oh, yeah. Cool. That is working. Okay, great. But yeah, I don't want it to be, okay, it doesn't, oh, that's good actually. It works perfect. Okay, so this is like that. Actually, we should do it on this button as well. But anyway, yeah. And now, okay, good, nice. And if I go to minus, actually, you see it doesn't really change that number. So it works really good. Okay, good. Yes, okay. So that's fine. And yeah, basically the plus button should do the same. But anyway, I know that this tutorial actually went longer than I thought. But and I don't want it to be actually much longer. We can also play with more variables, meaning we can make the, let's say, the background, we can play with its color, and when, let's say, it's 1, so that's gonna be actually oh, why doesn't it work now? Oh, because I didn't add it to the bag. Okay, and I didn't put this action on, like, on the minus. Yeah, that's fine. And I was like kind of like not understanding for a minute. Anyway, that if I can set this work with variables and say that if actually the bag count is bigger than 0, then you can change this background color to, let's say, a black one, and the numbers, and change the number of the color of the numbers to white or something like that. So you can still go ahead and play with that. Again, I don't want to do this tutorial much longer than it is already, but basically, as you see, that's very powerful, and this is really kind of like just scratching the tip of the iceberg on it. And this is really like the beginning of understanding of how to actually work with variables and conditions and so on. So anyway, I'm just saying that it's kind of a new, like completely new abilities to get used to. I believe it will take a bit of time, some time to get used to it and do it like really good. The only issue is here a bit is that you have to actually, I don't know, think a bit more like a programmer, put much more logic, thinking ahead about variables, the way that you kind of like run your small or mini database in your file. So yeah, it's things that you have to put much more thoughts on. On the other hand, you do see and understand that for, let's say, usability checkings or really like checking it with real users, and when you can do the prototype like really dynamic, which works according to the actions of the users, then that gives it a pretty powerful ability as we did here. And just imagine that all that we did here, which is actually pretty cool and simple, I mean kind of, so imagine that practically if we would had to do this or like the two kind of like things that we did here, if we would have to do it through variants or different frames, different screens, wow, that would be really kind of a nightmare. I mean, not a nightmare. Maybe I'm being too dramatic here, but I would really kind of like have a lot of variants and more screens and so on. Anyway, I hope that this tutorial gave you the idea of like where can you go with this, or just the beginning of the thoughts of where you can go with this, and it shades some light on all the on like the part of the abilities that we can do with Figma now. So I hope that this tutorial was good. Again, a like and a subscribe to my channel would be great. I would be really grateful for that. And I will do another tutorial which kind of like more sums up the well, let's say the main updates that happened on the config. So another tutorial will follow this one. Thanks a lot and see you on the next one.